So I'm a nursery worker. I work Monday till Friday open to close, 6 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And my classroom is the infant classroom, which due to COVID only has 3 babies at the moment, 2 part-time and 1 full-time. But the full-time baby is there open to close Monday till Friday, despite the mom not working. I know this because the mom talks about how bored she gets being home all day. I'm with this baby 60 hours a week, and being an infant teacher, I do have to hold her, feed her, put her down for nap, and developmentally play with her to do my job correctly. Recently the baby has been fussing when the mom comes to pick up at 7:30 p.m. screams and cries, and the mom gets frustrated. This goes on for a few weeks. Yesterday the mom walks into my classroom during nap for the infants, noon, yelling about how I've emotionally manipulated her baby into hating her. Of course this wakes up all of the infants, and I have to pick all 3 of them up and soothe them, while the mom is yelling that I need to be fired. The director walks in and tries to calm her down, and she asks me what the issue is, and I said the baby has been fussy when the mom picks up. That's when the mom goes on her spiel again about how I emotionally manipulated her infant, and I was expecting my director to back me up cause that's ludicrous when the director blames me for letting the infant get too attached to me, and I explain that if the infant spends 60+ hours with me a week and I'm basically a full-time caretaker that she will of course become attached to me. The mom continues to yell at me saying she's gonna file a complaint against me with the state for emotional abuse, and my director is demoting me from head teacher to assistant teacher for it, saying that children shouldn't be attached to their temporary caretakers, and although some of the other teachers are taking my side, saying that if the mom spent more time with her baby, the baby wouldn't react to her that way. Other teachers say I should have paid less attention to the baby so it wouldn't get attached. If you work in the US, you're a mandatory reporter. Call your state's warm line and discuss with them. It's possible the mother's actions could fall under neglect and emotional abuse, and then you have a right and obligation to call services on her. Also, you can report your boss to the state licensing board and possibly pursue legal avenues, since your demotion had nothing to do with the safety of the child. I realize things differ state to state, and it may be different where you live. I am an infant room supervisor, and you can message me if you'd like more info. Not the idiot. I'm so sorry you are going through this, but what does mom expect when she drops her kid off on someone else for hours at a time? Of course, the baby is going to be attached to you. That means you are doing your job properly. It's not your fault the baby can sense who actually cares about her and who doesn't. Mom probably feels like a failure as a parent and is unfairly taking it out on you. 60+ hours is a lot of time to spend with an infant. If she wanted the baby to bond with her, she should have kept the baby at home instead of prioritizing her own free time. Not the idiot. So instead, you should neglect the baby until it no longer feels comforted around you. Because I'm not sure any other way they expect you to do it. I would have more sympathy for the mother if she was working all those hours and was feeling heartbroken that her baby prefers someone else. I would have sympathy. I would not agree with any behavior to change your actions because you're doing everything to be a wonderful caretaker. But you're telling me she has no job and just sits at home while you take care of your child. My birthday was in February and Jay's birthday is a week after. Context: I rarely drink. If I do, it's a cocktail or 2. I don't like being drunk, and if a mocktail is available, I'll have that because I don't like alcohol, and I never drink at home. It's a running joke in our friend group and my family that I hate getting alcohol because, 1. I see it as a cop-out gift. 2. I have been given so much alcohol, I could open a small bar. For my birthday I went out to dinner with this friend group, been friends for years now, and they all got me alcohol, and not in a funny haha, it's a joke because you hate it way, but a serious gift they expected me to be grateful for, which upset me. But I am very passive, something I'm trying to work on. I don't like to cause crap, so I didn't say anything. After Jay finished he went for a smoke, chain smoker, so was gone for the rest of dinner. The rest sat for 40 minutes discussing his birthday plans. I didn't expect the conversation to revolve around me all night, and I'm not a fan of being the center of attention for long, but I was a little hurt that we spent my dinner talking about his plans and his present, which was over $300. I also don't care about how much money someone spends on me for my birthday, but sitting there with cheap alcohol that I hated hurt. It isn't about the price, it's the intent for me. I cried on the way home, and my husband felt awful because he specifically told them not to buy me alcohol, and he knows that they all know how much I dislike alcohol. Husband's birthday was the end of November, and in October those friends started talking to me about what he wanted for his birthday and what we were planning, etc. This pissed me off because it's clear I'm the only one they don't care to do anything for, and it made me feel like I don't belong anymore. My husband doesn't care and thinks I'm overreacting, but I would argue that it's because he is still benefiting from it. Nothing has changed for him. He did tell them not to get him anything for his birthday because he saw how much it was hurting me. I was talking with a family friend and we were discussing buying presents for Christmas, and I mentioned how I'm only doing presents for family, and she asked why, so I told her and she was pissed for me, which was nice. I felt very validated. It made me feel like I wasn't crazy. She suggested that I give the alcohol, which is still sitting untouched in my pantry, back to them as a Christmas present. I laughed it off at first, but I'm kind of considering it. She thinks I should do it. My husband is neutral, but thinks it would be funny, but I don't know if I'm that much of an idiot. Please don't think I'm being a baby, because I didn't get what I wanted for my birthday. That isn't what this is. I feel this way because of how I'm being treated compared to Jay and my husband. Had we all been treated the same way, I wouldn't care. I just feel like I'm being singled out. I'm not sure if I'll do it regardless of the judgment, but I'd like to know in case I get the balls to do it. Not the idiot. If you're not going to drink it, send it back out. No point having it clutter up your home. Your friends are idiots for making you feel so crappy on your birthday and then actively discussing someone else's day and gift right in front of you at your celebratory meal. Nah. Your birthday is the one day you're allowed to be a bit selfish. I'd be hella pissed off too if I was in your situation. I'd be ditching those friends and finding better ones, to be honest. Not the idiot. They purposefully went out of their way to get you gifts you wouldn't want. I think the only downside to your plan is that they may enjoy the alcohol, but it's probably going too far to poison it. If they can play a joke on you, you can play a joke back. Just be wary that you may again receive the alcohol for your next birthday, but again, if it was me and I received the alcohol I didn't want back, I would purposefully throw it into a bin as I unwrapped each bottle, hopefully ensuring that each and every one smashed. Give them back the alcohol, may even switch it up, like give one to another, not the original gifter their bottle, so when they look at it or make a comment, then you can let them know you got it from so and so. If they don't like receiving it as a gift, what makes them think you did? They sound like they're cool with stepping on you, and if your husband doesn't say something next year, his back should be getting whatever cake and gifts you like for his birthday. Love to see his face when he opens up a nice pair of leggings and your favorite dessert. My husband and mom have this weirdly close relationship, which has been a source of conflict before, usually when he has trouble telling her no. When I was pregnant, I told my husband that I wanted to be just us two in the hospital and we could have friends and family over the house later. I went into labor prematurely and my husband rushed us to the hospital in my car. It was unexpected. I gave birth without an epidural because I couldn't get one with the timing. It was the hardest, most painful thing I could imagine. I didn't get hardly any time with our baby at all before the doctors and nurses had to take her away, and I was just laying in bed feeling awful, in pain, feeling like, did I do something to make this happen? I had some risk factors like stress and a past struggle with disordered eating that's left me at a low weight. Then suddenly my husband's mother came in, asking where the baby was, asking a lot of medical questions like how premature, had I been resting enough during pregnancy, how was the baby? That really hurt when I'd been questioning myself so much also. And my husband was just talking her through it all, even though I had told him nobody but us in the hospital. I spoke up and said I wanted to be alone with my husband to rest, and he actually said that it'd just be a few minutes, they'd step out to the lounge. I didn't feel any better. I didn't want to be alone, and I didn't want her possibly pushing back into the room. Now onto the questionable part. I should explain I grew up in a pretty abusive, traumatic environment, and that's given me the defense mechanism of just running when I am feeling scared or overwhelmed. It's something I thought I'd gotten past with therapy, but I guess that moment I was feeling worse than I had in a very long time. I got up, kinda zoning out the pain because I felt so anxious. I got covered up with my long winter parka and pulled on my boots and grabbed my purse and made a slow break for the parking garage. I got to my car, and by the time I was there the pain had really set in. I felt dizzy and was scared of passing out if I drove, so I just laid across the backseat. I lost track of time before a nurse found me, and at that point they brought me back inside and put me in a private area for treatment. It's been a month since then now, and it's caused so much trouble. I'm upset my husband didn't keep it to just us. He says that he didn't know how serious I meant it, plus, with a premature labor, it was like all our plans for how my birth would go were out the window. His mother was just concerned. He's also really bothered I left. He said it's serious destructive, and I wasn't thinking about my own health or safety. His mom has said that I seem too instable to be a mother. Am I the idiot for walking out? Not the idiot. Not at all. You went through a traumatic experience. Childbirth is hard enough under normal circumstances. When there are complications, it can send even the most psychologically healthy person into a spiral. Your husband stomped on your boundaries and is now trying to gaslight you by saying you didn't express your wishes seriously enough. That's not even a thing. You told him your wishes, he should have checked with you first. End of story. Not the idiot, but there are a couple of idiots here. This may sound awful, but your husband is useless if he won't look out for you when you need the help. The mother for not knowing the basic rules of hospital visits. Come when it's convenient for the patient, bring food, say comforting things and leave quickly. When you and the baby are settled in, please work on defending yourself. It's okay to be an idiot when your boundaries are being trampled. You need to know how to handle these things. Not the idiot, it was a very unsafe move, but your husband should acknowledge his part in causing you to do this. It is not an excuse because the birth was premature that your birth plan suddenly changes. It just gets adapted a little. Your mother-in-law sounds very manipulative for saying you are too unstable to be a mother. No mother right after birth is super stable. They all have doubts and fears. She said that to manipulate your husband so he thinks he has no fault in causing you to do this. That it was not wrong to change the birth plan so she could be in the hospital. I've lost my son 2 months ago. He was only 25, he was disabled, he had cerebral palsy since birth. My husband and I loved him so much and gave him all the love and care he needed to make through the difficult times. Since his death, I have been getting a lot of advice on how to move on in life and pretend like my son didn't even exist. Just like what they did when my husband passed away 2 years ago. My brother-in-law, husband's brother, has always been a total idiot to me. 1 week before my husband died, he told my husband to not worry about me because I will marry again. He told this while he was dying. My husband was a great man, he was a donor, he cared for our son, and always wanted for him to be happy. But my son died, right after we got back from the funeral, my Bill and his wife stayed at my house for a whole week. He said, "Why are you still so sad for your son? You should be happy for him, you should be happy for both of you, him not having to deal with his disability anymore, and you being free, now you can go live your life without having to take care of a disabled person." It wasn't like he was gonna make it to 50, right? I felt just awful, I got so angry with him, I told him he was an idiot and told him to get out of my house. He started running his mouth again and said, "I know you're just acting out because you're grieving, but that does not excuse your crappy behavior towards me and my wife." Before he left, I told him to hand me the spare key to my house that he stole from my husband before he died. He lifted it up then, instead of giving it to me, he tossed it in the trash bin. His wife was laughing on her way out, and I just stood there feeling awful. I cried my eyes out that day and wished my son was there to comfort me. Now he's calling me to say that wants me to come over and help his wife decorate his son's birthday party. My dear, I lost my oldest daughter at 17. It is a pain that dulls but never truly leaves. You have my deepest sympathies. People like your brother-in-law have no compassion for anyone but themselves. Discard them. Change your locks, your phone number and block them on everything. These are people you don't need in your life. Take the time to grieve, as long as it takes. There will be days you do not want to survive, days where breathing hurts, but it will get better. Trust me, I've been there. Not the idiot, he's an appalling human being and you do not need people like that in your life. I'm an internet stranger, and all I can think to say is that I'm very sorry for your loss. For someone close to you to come up with such an awful thing takes a special kind of nasty. I do get that sometimes when faced with loss, people accidentally say things that are slightly inappropriate on the spur of the moment, and we should forgive them for their awkwardness. This is not what's happening here, though. Not the idiot. I would still change the locks, because those are not beyond making copies. And they may try to steal from you, because they are entitled to things in their twisted minds. Send them a message, not only will you not help decorate their pretentious party, Any further contact from any of them will result in an immediate restraining order. You had put with their boorish behavior for the sake of your husband and son, but with their death, you are now free to cut the ties that bound you. Anyway, I like tea. I have about 3 to 4 cups of hot tea today. Tea brings me so much happiness and peace. I won't go into details, but just know it brings me back to a lot of happy memories from my childhood. My boyfriend, whom I will call Josh, didn't mind my tea drinking. Our first date was even at a tea house. He doesn't drink as much as me, but will have a cup in the morning, or if I offer to make him a cup. Recently, Josh went to the hospital complaining of pain and they found out he had a pretty sizable kidney stone. Thankfully, they said he would pass it on his own, gave him some meds and a list of things to eat or drink. You know the do's and don'ts of what causes kidney stones. Well, I woke to make my morning cup of tea and the kettle was gone. I looked everywhere and couldn't find it, so I asked Josh. He said he threw it out cause tea on his list of things that could cause kidney stones. He didn't want the temptation around anymore and even went so far as to blame for me the stone. I love my boyfriend, however we have totally different diets. I do my best to drink plenty of water, avoid fast food and always cook for myself. If I order out, I try to find a healthy choice on the menu. I'm working on losing some weight, so I do my best to stay on track. Josh pretty much pisses Red Bull, Mountain Dew, and Dr. Pepper. He loves junk foods and will opt for greasy fast food burger over the grilled chicken I made for dinner. It's rare I see him drinking water. In fact, he has his own little mini fridge fully stocked with soda and Red Bull. I told him that it wasn't my problem that he had kidney stones and that me having a cup of tea wasn't going to ruin anything. He snapped and said that as his boyfriend, I should go through this with him cause we're a couple. I need to give up my tea so he'll get better. He even freaking said he asked him mom if she wanted the tea I had in the apartment so he wouldn't have to see it. Again, I said that a cup of tea didn't cause his stupid kidney stone. That him drinking up to 6 Dr. Peppers a day did, and I will not stop having a cup of tea cause of him. I am not responsible for his health. After that I took my tea, my stuff and went back to my apartment. We don't live together. Just stay over sometimes. Since then, Josh, his friends, and even his mom have been blowing me up on social media and my phone. They are calling me awful things, saying I'm selfish and should be thinking of Josh in his time of need. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot at all. You should have told him, okay, I don't like Red Bulls and Dr. Pepper, so out it goes. I don't like those things, so you shouldn't either. I like to drink beer, my husband likes to drink beer. While I was pregnant with both our kids, unlike some women, I didn't make my husband stop having his beer on the weekends even though I couldn't. I wasn't a big fat crybaby like Josh is being. If he's throwing a fit about tea, good luck to him with anything remotely difficult in life. Not the idiot. He threw away your property and tried to give away your tea. My advice, block him, block his friends, block his mother and don't go back to him. That level of controlling is a huge red flag and so is throwing away your property. He was only drinking 1 cup a day, it's all the other trash that gave him the kidney stone. Imagine if you married him and his mother got involved like that. Holy hell. Best of luck to you. You are definitely not the idiot, he and his mom are, though. Not the idiot. You know, the fact that he feels entitled to just throw out your crap and then make you out to be the bad guy while simultaneously and actively discrediting his own negative behaviors, coupled with the fact that he has surrounded himself with people who encourage and enable this behavior, says a lot about him as a person and his likely development trajectory. I don't enjoy relationships where every man and his dog apparently has a say in how it should run. That doesn't, to me, seem like the way an adult and mutually respectful relationship is conducted.